Imagine standing on the deck of a ship, looking out at the open ocean, say, 12 million years ago. You aren't just looking at water, you're looking at a hunting ground, ruled by a beast so terrifying it could swallow a school bus whole. A true Leviathan.
Uh-huh. And today we're jumping right into the deep end to meet a real colossal predator from the fossil record. Livyatan melvili. Now, this is an extinct ancestor of the modern sperm whale.
Right.
And our sources today, they show us that while it was, similar in size to its modern relatives, its whole role in the ecosystem was, well, radically different.
So our mission here is to take what science tells us about this magnificent, frankly terrifying ancient creature, how it was discovered, how it hunted, even the slightly bizarre history behind its name.
Definitely bizarre.
And give you the full picture of this Miocene terror. And just for context, the Miocene epoch, that stretched from about 23 million down to 5.3 million years ago. It was a time when marine life was thriving, yes, but also volatile and deeply, deeply dangerous.
Exactly. And when we talk about Livyatan, we are comparing it to the modern sperm whale, which, let's remember, is already the largest toothed predator on Earth today.
Still massive.
Oh yeah, Livyatan ranged from about 13 to maybe 19 meters long. That's longer than a standard semi-truck. But, the similarity really kind of ends with the sheer scale.
Okay, let's unpack why this ancient whale was a hunter, unlike anything we see today.
Okay. If you think of the modern sperm whale, you picture this creature hunting way down in the abyssal zone, right? Focusing on deep-sea squid, maybe some fish.
Deep water suction feeders.
Yeah, suction feeders. And their teeth, they have them, but they're actually quite small, really only on the bottom jaw. And they fit into these sockets in the upper jaw. They seem to use them more for grabbing food than, active violent seizing.
Well, Livyatan just tossed that evolutionary playbook right out the window. The defining feature of this creature was its weaponry. I mean, our sources describe these deeply rooted, massive teeth in both the upper and lower jaws.
Both jaws, unlike modern ones. Both jaws. We are talking teeth 30 centimeters long, that's a foot long, and 10 centimeters wide. Just try to picture that. That's the length of a standard ruler. These are, hands down, the largest non-tusk teeth ever recorded in any animal ever.
Wow, and the fossils suggest the jaws themselves were just incredibly robust. Huge.
Oh, massive. The mouth could easily hold an entire adult human inside. It gives you an immediate sense of the kinetic energy involved when this predator decided, it was time to eat.
So the teeth really dictate the hunting style.
Absolutely. Livyatan was not slurping up soft-bodied squid from the deep. No way. It was a pursuit predator. It actively chased down his prey, seized it, and used those powerful, dense jaws to clamp down and literally shred large animals.
And get this, what researchers think its favorite meal was. It's truly remarkable, not just big fish.
No.
They suggest Livyatan frequently dined on other whales, specifically the ancestors of modern baleen whales. I mean, the Miocene Ocean sounds like a scene of constant, violent whale-on-whale predation.
It really does. And we have pretty solid evidence for this because the structural details are so clear in the fossils. The skull itself reveals exactly how this creature was engineered for, extreme predation.
How does the skull itself tell us that? That it wasn't just catching big fish, but actively taking down other large, thrashing whales?
So it's all in the stability and the mechanics.
Yeah.
So first, those huge teeth were deeply embedded in the jawbone, really deep. That provides the maximum stability needed to hold on to large, struggling prey that would be fighting back with incredible force.
Right, because if your prey is another whale, it's going to be strong, curved, slippery.
Precisely. And the teeth weren't just pegs sticking straight out. They were angled slightly forward. Now, that's the perfect orientation for gripping the curved, thick bodies of other cetaceans, other whales.
Oh.
And when those jaws closed, the teeth interlocked. One source described it like a meat cleaver coming down, just designed for maximum penetration and slicing power.
That sounds absolutely brutal. But why the short, wide snout then? If its modern relative has a longer snout, why would Livyatan evolve this different structure?
Good question. The short, wide snout maximizes leverage. Think about it. If you have to deliver an incredibly high-powered bite to crush thick bones and muscle, prey that's much, much tougher than, squishy squid,
right,
you need your front teeth to clamp down extra hard. The shape of that snout allowed for superior muscle attachment points, indicating just ridiculously strong jaw muscles. These were needed to deliver those high-powered, potentially bone-crushing bites. He was clearly a specialist in taking down megafauna.
And just think about the energy required to fuel that kind of engine. Modern sperm whales, what, they eat about 3% of their body weight daily?
Something like that, yeah.
So if Livyatan was eating thick, calorie-dense whale meat, it must have needed an enormous intake just to maintain its size and dominance in that Miocene ocean, which you mentioned was a time of significant geological and climatic instability, too.
Yeah, that instability likely played a role in its eventual end. But before we get to its disappearance, the story of how we actually discovered this magnificent beast and how we named it is equally strange. It was a puzzle for decades.
Right, we were finding the pieces but couldn't assemble the whole picture. These enormous teeth, clearly from some kind of ancient sperm whale, had been found since way back in the 1870s. But paleontologists just couldn't locate a matching skull, and without a skull, you can't officially classify the animal, right?
Exactly. You need that type specimen. The mystery was finally solved in November 2008. The first complete Livyatan skull was unearthed in Cerro, Colorado, Peru.
Peru, okay.
And it was monumental. A 3-meter-long fossil found in a site that's just renowned for its marine fossils. Something like 80% of the specimens recovered, there are cetaceans. You know, the group including all whales, dolphins, and porpoises.
So they finally had the skull. And they chose what seemed like the perfect name, Leviathan melvili, a really clear nod to the mythological sea serpent, the original Leviathan, and of course, Herman Melville.
Author of Moby Dick.
Exactly. The book that basically defined our cultural image of the sperm whale, it felt like a really profound tribute.
It was perfect. Beautiful name. Until 2010. That's when they hit a very specific bureaucratic snag. The International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Turned out, the name Leviathan was already taken. It had previously been assigned to an extinct genus of mastodon, an ancient elephant relative.
You're kidding. That's just terrible luck. Having the absolute perfect name only to be vetoed by a long-dead elephant ancestor.
Well, nomenclature rules are strict. You just can't reuse a genus name. So they needed a replacement. Something that kept the spirit of the original but satisfied the rules. Their solution was, well, brilliantly simple.
What did they do?
They swapped the Latinized Leviathan for Livyatan, which is simply the Hebrew translation for the exact same word.
Ah, clever. So the powerful namesake survived, just in a different form. What's fascinating here, though, is that the naming mishap of the ancient whale is only one part of this weird naming story. The modern species, the sperm whale, has its own peculiar and, let's be honest, slightly embarrassing naming history.
Oh, that's a truly hilarious misnomer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it links directly back to the commercial whaling era, 18th century deep into the 20th. The sperm whales were prime targets.
Not just for oil, though.
Not just for oil, no.
Yeah.
They were hunted specifically for this massive organ found in their heads.
The spermaceti organ.
That's the one. Whalers, when they opened up these huge skulls, would find this enormous sac. It could contain up to 2,000 liters. That's over 500 gallons of this white, waxy fluid.
Okay.
And, well, misunderstanding its biological purpose entirely, they just assumed it was the whale's semen or sperm.
Oh, wow.
And the name sperm whale just stuck it.
That waxy spermaceti, though, it was commercially gold, wasn't it? Used in everything from high-quality candles. Apparently, it burned brighter and cleaner than anything else, to cosmetics, and even specialized industrial lubricants. So, a truly valuable mistake, I guess.
Definitely valuable. And even today, the exact function of the spermaceti organ is still debated among scientists. The two leading theories both relate back to the whale's unique hunting style and environment.
Okay, what are they?
Well, one theory suggests it acts as a kind of massive reverberation chamber, crucial for enhancing their echolocation, helping them find prey in the absolute pitch-black darkness of the deep ocean.
Makes sense. And the other theory connects it more directly to those incredible deep dives the modern species is known for.
Exactly. Some researchers believe the spermaceti helps regulate buoyancy. The idea is they might be able to cool the waxy substance, making it denser, which helps the whale sink rapidly for those extreme deep dives.
Like an internal dive weight.
Sort of, yeah. And then maybe warming it up again to help them rise back to the surface.
Okay, so what connects this modern mystery back to our Miocene Leviathan Livyatan? It's the shape of its skull, isn't it?
That's the key. The top of the Livyatan fossil skull shows this huge concave depression. It's called the supracranial basin.
Right.
And this is precisely the structure that in ancient whales would have housed the spermaceti organ and also the melon. That's the fatty tissue that focuses echolocation sounds. This physical location is right there, above the jaw, behind the snout.
So we can pretty confidently infer that Livyatan almost certainly had a spermaceti organ and a melon too, meaning this high-powered pursuit predator the whale eater,
Hmm.
was also adapted for deep dives, which suggests the function of this unique organ, whatever it truly is, must be an extremely ancient trait. It predates the evolution of suction feeding that we see in modern sperm whales.
Absolutely. So just to kind of synthesize this whole journey, we started with this almost mythological monster, this Leviathan, and we've uncovered the reality of a genuine whale-eating predator, a creature possessing probably the most powerful bite in its ocean 12 million years ago. We've mapped its anatomy, detailed its terrifying diet, and explored the complex and often kind of ironic historical journey of how both the ancient giant and its modern relative got their names.
And while we don't know the exact extinction event for Livyatan melvili, the consensus points towards that dramatic climate cooling and the environmental shifts near the end of the Miocene, right?
Yeah,
Fundamentally changing the oceans and its food web.
that seems most likely. It probably starved out these massive apex pursuit predators, which in turn opened the door for different kinds of whales, like the deep-diving suction feeders, to thrive.
But what's fascinating here is the resilience of life, isn't it? Its distant relatives, the modern sperm whales, they survived those ancient shifts. And now, thanks to modern conservation efforts after the whaling era finally ended, their populations are slowly recovering.
Slowly but surely. It's a positive sign.
So, what does all this mean for us listening now? If we understand how rapidly environmental changes like the climate cooling back in the Miocene can cause the complete collapse of even a dominant species like Livyatan,
Mm.
well, what might future generations of whales evolve into?
Mm.
Especially given the current equally dramatic changes happening in our own ocean environment right now? Learning from these ancient marine leviathans feels like more than just history. It feels like a crucial insight into the future of life in the deep. Something for you to definitely chew on next time you look out at the sea.